Hey Larry, can you hear me?
Yes. Can you hear
All
me?
right. Oh my gosh, yes, I can hear you.
Okay.
First time is a charm.
Yeah. Which is uh, probably because we don't have anyone here in the cavern yet. So naturally, everything's going to work on the day when we don't have anyone to hear us.
Well, at least we're connected this time.
Yeah.
I'm probably should get my butt in the cavern. Nobody's on Twitch yet, huh? Or nobody else is on Twitch yet.
I
Let's
see
see.
4 people logged in. 5 people now. But no one said anything yet.
Nah. Did something weird happen after the last cavern tour?
Not really. Nothing I know about.
No, I'm telling about me. Something
Oh,
weird happened. Um, the SDL states for my barrel poles got all screwed up.
well,
So I've got 3 of them in my Relto, and there's no handprints on the walls in the cave. To move the poles back and forth. That's happened once before. That's generally as a result of bot effects.
well, I've had the fairly exciting last few weeks
Oh yeah?
within certain definitions of exciting. The I started having severe problems with breathing, and
That's
the
not
cat
good.
had to put up with that for a while because I didn't have any money to go see a doctor. When I finally got in a little bit of extra money early this week, I went into a doctor's office for a quick exam, and they pretty much went into panic mode once they got a look at me. So they were suspecting that I had congestive heart failure, or might have it, I should say.
Well, that ain't good.
Not by anyone's definition, I don't think. I wound up after I left them. Oh, there's Susan.
On Skype or on Twitch?
Skype looks like.
No, it looks like it's just the 2 of us, unless you just logged in.
I have to answer the call, but I'm trying to figure out how to do it with by merging.
You should just be able to click join to join. That's all I did.
I got a message up saying something about answering this call will place your current call on. Okay, it just disappeared. So I guess she's going to retry. But it was saying that to answer her call, I'd have to in the current call. So I wasn't sure how to get around that. Anyway, so immediately after leaving the doctor's office, I went to the emergency room. There was the hospital is across the street from where I went. Saying they started doing all sorts of stuff like blood tests and X-rays and stuff like that. And out of that, I've got 2 prescriptions and and they kept me overnight after pumping me full of a drug that was meant to make me have to go to the toilet a lot.
Furosemide.
Yeah, it was a diuretic.
That's a generic name for Lasix. Drug name.
Anyway, they kept and they kept me there until something like 12:30 the next day. Let's see if she sent me an email. Oh, Zika-san?
Hey.
Hello.
Easy.
Okay, I'm not hearing anybody.
I'm not. We weren't talking just now, but we can hear you.
Okay, I can hear you now.
Yeah.
I hear Arcade talking, but I don't hear him.
You know, you hear me clearing my throat and doing other obnoxious sounds.
Me.
Anyway, after I had the hospital stay that I had to go in yesterday to do a follow-up appointment at a doctor's office, and they decided that I had to go on a third medicine, so I've got 3 prescriptions right now. So I've got heart medicine, I've got a medicine that's supposed to help clear up my lungs, and then I've got a medicine that's supposed to help lower my blood sugar.
Oh, okay.
Because yesterday they told me that while it wasn't anything that they were going to panic over, I apparently have a touch of diabetes.
Just a touch?
Yeah, stage 2 they called it.
Oh, type 2?
Yeah. They said the dividing line between normal blood sugar and type 2 diabetes is 6.5 something or other, whatever measurement they were using, and I was around 7. So in addition to that medicine, I'm taking, I'm cutting back on my sugar intake. My coffee this morning just has creamer in it, no sugar.
Yeah.
It's not that bad.
I take my coffee like I take my whiskey, straight up.
Yeah.
Like I get a dark roast and then grind it to an espresso grind, so it's extra dark and extra strong.
That's way too hardcore for me. So far, no Mirfac. So this could be awkward.
Kind of difficult to do special effects without him.
Yep. Here's Susan.
Actually type the lean command without having to make 3 typos first. There she is. Oh, that's Murphac.
Yeah.
Hey, Murphac.
Hello.
Hello.
By the way, Murphac, on Discord, I wasn't trying to slam you about the bot effects regarding my Relto state. Just as was throwing that out there as background information for anybody who might be able to go in and change the SDL states.
Yeah, I never know that I never see this issue, and I just see that I probably can disable the symbols when I'm in the age. I will think
Well,
of that for the next Cavern tour, but I see that you can't retrieve your pillars back.
Yeah, the handprints disappeared because there's conflicting SDL states, and they basically have to be the same state for everything to work properly. It's like set 9 instead of 8 or something like that.
Yes, I've seen that. I don't know if I can correct this for you.
It happened once before, but it was like a couple years ago. It doesn't happen often, but it does happen. It's no big deal. It doesn't stop me from getting in the game or using it. It makes my Relto look untidy, that's all.
No.
It'll get fixed. You just have to wait for Hoikis to do something about it.
Okay, Susan, I've got you as a
Yeah.
separate call, but the thing is
Right.
that it puts the main call on mute.
Right.
So I'm wondering, I'm supposed to be able to merge you somehow, but I'm not seeing an option for that.
Okay, hang on. Let me mute. I need to mute you guys in Twitch now. Okay, so now. And yes, tourists, we do have difficulties before each tour. It's a standard. Let's see.
Okay. For some reason, I cannot get Susan into the call. So I think what I'm going to have to do is hang up and try again.
Okay, so we all got to hang up.
Hold on just a second while I try and see what I can do from my end. Okay, I'm back, but you can hear me, Duarte, right?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay.
Bye.
Yeah, when I hung up, I got the join call button, so that I'm not quite sure why Susan can't do it. Okay, I'm trying to ring Susan now, but so far she hasn't answered.
Hello.
Oh, there we
Hey.
go.
Oh my gosh.
I
Okay,
had
I'll
to-
never delete that join thing again.
Yeah. What happens is that I had to go to full screen in order to see options. I couldn't see
gotcha.
them.
Gotcha. Thank you.
Yep.
Hi, everybody.
So in other words, you pulled an Arte. Is that what you're trying to say?
Well, not quite that bad. Wink, wink. Yeah, like the tour couldn't have gone on without me, right?
Not really. Wouldn't be the same.
You need your wit and your jives at Arte.
There you go.
Yeah. You were the only one
Yep.
who had trouble with Skype this morning.
Well, that's because I deleted the conversation that would have had the join button. You know, on the left, like 1/4 of the panel, it lists all your previous conversations.
Yeah.
And if, you know, usually I would delete all of them except for ours, because I don't like clutter. And I experimented, and I thought, what will happen if I delete our group conversation? I just assumed, okay, the next time you guys form a group, you'll join me, and we're good to go. But since it's so difficult, I won't do that again.
Yep. Well.
Oh, Cavern wants to see you up. By the way, on Twitch, you're a little dark.
That's
You're not well lit. Did you know that?
I have the same lighting as I always do, but I do have. Actually, I'm not quite sure why that is.
You can see yourself, right? How dark you are.
Kind of, yeah.
It's like you're in an extra shadow or something.
But it's not like I'm so handsome that being in shadow isn't anything other than an improvement.
Yeah, but it makes you look scary, so just kidding. Oh, by the way, that reading you had that was 7 should be 5, and that's your hemoglobin A1C.
Ah, you heard that, huh?
Yeah, I heard the tail end of that, and I know this is boring to everyone on YouTube, but when I was 33 pounds heavier, mine was 5.8, and on a keto diet, I got it down to 5.
Ah.
So I was pre-diabetic.
Yeah.
So yeah, going low carb, or if you can stand it, ketogenic, is going to help with, is going to resolve your diabetes type 2.
I forgot about that.
Without medication.
I forgot about the carbohydrates. This morning and ate some biscuits.
Yeah, it's going to,
But they taste so good going down.
I know, yeah, I've had barely no carbs since August 11th, about 3.5 months. And I'm in ketosis all the time, and I'm never hungry.
I was on the modified Atkins diet, which is a keto diet, and I dropped 30 pounds. I ended up weighing less than I did when I graduated high school.
Yeah, I believe it.
They haven't put me on any kind of diet. They're just making me take 3 different kinds of medicine.
Yeah, but that's what doctors are trained to do. They're not trained in nutrition. They're trained to prescribe medication.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, my cholesterol. Yeah,
This
my cholesterol, Shiloh, did go up a little bit. I know you're a doctor.
Yeah.
Sorry to insult you. I didn't mean to insult you.
This is the stuff that they're having me take right now. Let's see. I don't think you can read it, but it's metformin.
I think that's what my cousin's on, and he lost a lot of weight on it. But like I said, if you want to go off your meds, go on a low carb and or keto diet.
Anyway,
Sorry, Shiloh. I didn't really didn't mean to insult you. I know you're a physician. But you're not trained in nutrition, isn't that true? And that's not your fault. Anyway, so much for health talk on YouTube, I guess.
Yeah.
Didn't know this was going to turn into a health show.
Yeah.
And my we were talking about the biscuits. My wife was a dialysis nurse, and there was one patient she had that, because the bad thing when you're on dialysis, um, you have to really watch your potassium, because the kidneys have a problem filtering that out.
Yeah.
And
These are the two main ones I have to take. Lisinopril for my heart, and this one here is hydrochlorothiazide, which is supposed to help clear the liquid out of my lungs.
Oh gosh, I didn't hear that part.
Oh, what happened was I went in early this week, and they started getting panicked about possibly having the beginnings of congestive heart failure.
Okay, let's discuss that after the tour. Dr. Susan's in the house. Hey, speaking of which, I need coffee, but in my coffee I put heavy cream and stevia, and it does not raise my blood glucose.
I'm just using creamer, my dad, because pretty much all of the artificial sweeteners just taste bitter to me.
Yeah, I'm not fond of. Well, the thing I bought is organic stevia, but really it has more erythritol than stevia in it, which I think is false advertising. But that's why you have to read the ingredient labels. And yes, I'm not fond of the taste, but at least it doesn't knock me out of ketosis.
Thank you for the advice, Shiloh. But one of the things that we have to watch out for is price. This stuff is only costing me $4 a pop, so.
I was talking about my wife being a dialysis nurse, and one of the things, one of her patients was always having problems with the potassium, and it's because he could not lay off his wife's baking powder biscuits.
Oh, huh. There's a lot of potassium in that.
Yeah.
On a keto diet, you have to take an electrolyte supplement, otherwise you get leg cramps and or the keto flu. I never got the keto flu, but I have to take electrolytes and put sodium in my water in order to avoid leg cramps at night.
See Shiloh's comment there?
Yeah, exactly.
I'm not at the keyboard, so I don't think I want to read it. She's gonna sigh and groan and quit the tour.
She said, again, easier to get them to change their religion than change their diet.
Yeah, but it was easy for me to change my diet. My epiphany was I hit 65, and I decided I just can't be obese anymore. I just can't. It'll just get harder to move around and walk, and I endanger my health more than ever. So that was my motivation.
Anyway, it's about time to start, but I need to take a quick trip to the other room, so I'll be back in a moment.
Okay. Hey, Susan.
Hi, Zeke.
You're whistling like from Puss in Boots: The Last Wish.
It's supposed to be the Jeopardy theme, Final Jeopardy theme.
That's the same whistle they used in that one, but more freaky.
Is it?
Yeah, it's about the same. They sound similar.
Sounds similar to Skype too. Do 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 do.
I ended up. This is what I've been doing for the last 30 minutes. I ended up typing out all the announcements, and I'm gonna post them in the chat, basically.
Oh, okay. Wow.
So that,
we're just gabbing about health. You're a busy bee and moolah. Sorry. Go ahead.
I just thought of a moolah biscuit for some reason.
I'm on a no moolah diet. No, I guess I'm not. I'm on a low moolah diet. I show up once a month.
Yeah. But
it lowers my glucose. My glucose.
So in case we have new members come in, they at least can have a text chat of what we're talking about, because some people might not hear and might not know certain things. So
Cool.
it means it will take a little longer because I'm switching between the two. So just bear with.
You're twitching. You know that Shiloh can prescribe something for that. Dr. Shiloh, what do you give for twitching?
Twitching or twitching with the Tweety bird.
In any case,
All right.
Are you going to type all that stuff in Discord, Zeke?
Not Discord.
I mean,
The chat.
Twitch. See, now
Not,
I can't say Twitch anymore now that I know about your ailment. Are you going to type all that in, that
in
extra text in Twitch, as opposed to typing it in Moolah chat?
I'm actually doing it just for Moolah chat, actually.
Oh.
Twitch,
Maybe,
I don't think needs it as much.
Well, you know what? If you do it in Twitch, I think it won't scroll off as fast. It won't
Let me
scroll
do
up
it
as
on
fast.
Twitch
It's
for
up
right
to you.
now.
I'm sorry. I should just be quiet and not interfere.
Yeah, well, I'm thinking from a Mola standpoint because it's like that's where we might have problems with people wandering off. Twitch, it's stationary.
If they wander off, we need some of those child leashes, child harnesses with leashes.
We need the child locks on some of these people.
Yeah.
anyway, it's
Okay,
time
we're
for
not
us to
talking about
start.
anyone who's currently in the room right now.
But I can post it on Twitch to let them know. I posted the full thing on Twitch, but I'll do it individually on. It didn't do it all for some other reason. All right. Is everyone ready now? Larry, is he back?
Yeah. I'm here.
All right. All right. I want to thank you all for coming to the Cavern tours, where we explore the history of the ages. We need to get some housekeeping rules. First, you will need to friend Mirobot if you have not in the cavern. We will be using him to tour these different ages that we go to. If you get lost or we'll link to him, or if you get lost or the game crashes, you can link back to the Mirobot and press Find
Actually,
Larry,
that
and you will be
that
able
key
to...
number looks wrong. The key number looks wrong.
Okay.
I think it was 32319, not 323219.
My bad. I was doing a quick notice. Also, please stay away from ladders and stuff like that. Try not to touch anything if you can, as this might cause the game or all guests to either crash or cause other problems within the our tour. You can ask questions. You'll be able to ask questions and keep them related to the age we're going to, because it can be answered in a previous tour or a future tour. There will be opportunities to ask questions on the tour in certain times. So the host will say, if you have questions, that's the appropriate time to ask those questions.
Larry would argue he's a guide, not a host.
Historian. The historian would...
The hostorian.
Yeah, historian. I've been using the word historian for a while. And in your game, turn down your sound effects, ambient sound effects, ambient sounds, and music, turn all those down so that you can hear us between so you'll be able to hear us, and I'll explain that in just a minute. Next, have your game in windowed mode, because we will be switching between Twitch and the game.
Yes.
Because Larry will be sharing extra stuff that's not available.
Yes.
And then we will, and here's a link, I think. Is that right? There. And then have fun on the tour. Is there anything I missed?
Okay. I guess it's time for me to step in and get started.
All right.
Today?
Looks like Mirabot's where he's supposed to be.
Okay.
All right. So everyone.
First off, excuse me. No, don't blink to the bot yet.
Okay.
I've got a preamble to get through.
Okay. Go ahead.
I'm going to go ahead and minimize the game in the stream window just now because there we go.
Larry!
Oh.
Anyway, welcome to today's tour, in which we will cover the Pod Age. The Museum Pod Age is a single planet with multiple linking book locations. Each linking book transports to an observation pod that is located in an area that the Denis thought was notable. A map with the locations of the pods can be found on a folding table in the museum on Agra Island. On that map, a sketch of an observation pod is shown with the word Zik written next to it. Because of that, explorers have concluded that Zik must mean pod. The age was nicknamed the Pod Age by explorers, which in Denis would be Riziksev. But that is an explorer name. The real Denis names of either the planet or the age are unknown. The planet of Riziksev has a rotation period roughly 15 hours, 43 minutes, and 4 seconds long. So the days and nights last about 7 hours and 53.5 minutes long. The cycle is easily expressed in Denis. By their time keeping, a full planetary day takes 13 partovati. There is a distant possibility that Riziksev can be seen from space. The astronomy age Todelmer is an inhabitable moon that orbits a ringed planet. And that's the planet that I have showing in the stream window at the moment. The planet has a pod which is similar to the ones in Riziksev orbiting inside one of its rings. Since observation pods of that design have never been found anywhere else, it could be a sign that the planet Todelmer orbits is the one that holds Riziksev. However, there is room to doubt that, because the planetary rings cannot be seen in the sky of Riziksev. If they are aligned with the equator, as is normally the case with ringed planets, they should be visible in the southern sky from any of the pods except for Tetsunot. And let's go ahead and open up. Here we go, window capture.
Do you all remember where that picture of the huge planet is from? Which Myst game? Did you mention that, Larry?
Yeah, Todelmer. That's from Myst 5.
Myst 5. And we will be covering Myst 5 in our tours for the in the future. I won't spoil exactly when to keep you guys on edge, because I'm that kind of gal. But we will be having 4 tours covering Myst 5 in the future.
Ooh. Ah.
Anyway, say the cat. Okay. Now, if you look at the stream window, this picture I have up is the exterior of the pod that's in the lake of Dereno. It is typical of the construction of them all. The exception is the pod in space, because that one is larger and has more internal structure and also many more windows, all of which are reinforced possibly by force fields. The pods are battery powered and have solar panels to charge them. With only the internal lights and the window defoggers running, the power can last for a long time. But if you turn on the external spotlights and other devices, that drains the power faster. The solar panels cannot charge the batteries while they are in use. If you leave the power on in a pod when you link out, the batteries will be dead when you return and nothing will work. You will need to turn off the main power and give the panels time to recharge the batteries before stuff will work again. According to the Negalon pamphlet that was translated by the DRC, the pods are equipped with sound and scent emitters that were intended to help attract animals for the visitor to see. Explorers who have tried them report that their results were poor, so the devices may have failed over the centuries since they were built. Okay, next thing I need to look for is the map. Okay, I just changed the picture on the stream window. What I'm showing is a copy of the Roziksev map that has been converted into English lettering. If Dereno is the last pod on the planet, then there are 25 pods in total. However, there could be many more pods because not all of the land masses are shown on the map. What may be the equator is shown at the bottom of the map with arrows that imply that the planet rotates from east to west, like Earth does. There are what appear to be red longitude lines numbered from 1 to 13, and only 5 of them are shown on the map. If the guesses that we are seeing the equator and longitude lines are correct, then it means that only 1/3 of the planet's northern hemisphere is shown on the map. The land masses that you see on the map are all named for their major biomes or climates. So we do know the meanings of the names of the land masses. Chicho means temperate grassland. Dereno means ice and or tundra. Heva means savanna or tropical grassland. Negalon means jungle or rainforest. Peoferin means desert. Rigolus means taiga or boreal forest. And the last pod is actually called Tetsinote, is not on the landmass, but the name Tetsinote means in the abyss.
Do we know where Tetsinote is on the map?
Yes, it's number 6. So if you look at the landmass of Chicho, you'll see it off in the sea to the...
to the right.
Yes.
Right above, where is it?
You can't exactly walk to that from pod 24.
Yeah, you need some deep diving scuba gear and James Cameron's submersible.
Okay. Now we are let's see. I need to Mirabot. Okay.
I was asking if all pod names are Dunny words.
No, the pods don't, except for Tetsinote, none of the pods have names. They're all named, what we call them is a reference to the continent or landmass that they are sitting on. So, for instance, pod 13 is the one on Peoferin that we visit. But they are numbered. They are not named. Okay, let's go ahead and link to Mirabot.
So we're not going to the museum first, then?
No, there's no need to.
Okay. There's some pod information in the museum.
That basically,
on a table.
I just showed you the map that's on the table.
Yeah. And I assume you're going to show the other information that's on the table in Twitch. So thank you.
Yeah. Welcome to Tetsinote, the undersea pod. Tetsinote was the 4th and last pod to be released by the DRC. It was placed in the museum on April 19th of 2007. On the museum map, it is pod number 6. It's located underwater off the eastern coast of the island continent of Chicho. Judging by the sounds from its recordings, it may have been an observatory of animals similar to whales and dolphins. Sometime in the past, the pod suffered a structural failure that allows a trickle of seawater into its interior. The pod has bilge pumps that are able to keep up with the incoming water, but they can't reduce the amount that has already seeped into the pod. The defoggers and flood lamps for the windows are also broken, so turning on the power does not make the outside visible anymore. The electrical system is being affected by the seawater covering the bottom of the pod, and so the lights flicker and cut out frequently. The pod tends to groan and make other noises that leave no doubt that you are under a great deal of outside water pressure. For me, visiting this pod is always a nerve-wracking experience. Since it's a deep-sea pod, it can be safely assumed that there is little to any, if any, light outside, and its flood lamps were probably the only source of light available. However, the pod interior has deep red lighting, which could mean that the animals outside were bioluminescent and that the visitor's eyes needed to be accustomed to darkness to see them properly. Red light does not affect night vision, and so is used to illuminate areas when retaining night vision is desirable. Military flashlights have red lenses for just that reason. We don't know about the names of most of the places. We don't know about the names of the water areas on the museum map. So I can't tell you what those mean. However, in the case of Tetzanote, there is a Mayan word, cenote, which became cenote in Mexican Spanish. The Mayan word means well and was used for giant sinkholes found in Mexico that are up to 200 feet in diameter and can be as deep as 400 feet. Cenotes contain pristine water, and the Mayans drew drinking water from them for drinking, cooking, and washing. However, the Mayans considered them as places of worship and would sometimes throw offerings to their gods into them. That's because the Mayans believed that cenotes were openings into the underworld where their gods lived and from which humans supposedly emerged in the distant past. Dr. Richard A. Watson theorizes that the Mayan word cenote was introduced to the ancestors of the Mayans by the Dene who stayed on the surface after digging air shafts to the surface back when they first arrived. Supplying the caverns with fresh air was undertaken immediately after the Dene arrived from Gartene. To break down the Dene name, Te means in, Sonote means abyss, and of course, Tetsonote means in the abyss. Okay. Murphak, next we want to go to...
a couple questions, please, Larry, if you don't mind.
Sure.
Ural asked, I hope I'm pronouncing that right, Ural or Earl, asked if we know how deep we are, and my question I think I ask on every tour of this is, are we in saltwater or freshwater?
Well, this is in a sea, so it's probably going to be saltwater. And no, we do not know how deep we are, because we have absolutely no idea of what the outside is.
But the pressure, it's pretty bad down here. But I guess apparently the pumps are keeping up with the leak.
Yes.
Because I've never perceived it over the years getting any deeper in here.
See, the thing is that submarines can make noises like this when they get down a couple 100 feet. But the thing is that because there is no light filtering through the water, we're deep, but we just don't know how deep.
Yeah, and one other thing real quick that I'd be curious about is if the Dene have ever considered trying to raise this to repair it.
Well, the Dene are not around to repair it anymore.
Well, or the DRC.
But yeah,
anyway.
I imagine that would be a major job. And it would require specialists in deep sea diving.
Yeah, plus it'd be a little heavier than usual because of the water. Okay, sorry for the distraction.
Okay. Anyway, I was going to say, Murphak, next we want to go to Darano.
Go.
Shiloh says, I don't think the DRC ever had funding for submarines.
I don't think
We
so
could
either.
we could invite James Cameron to come down here. He's into that.
Okay, I'm in there now.
Okay, everyone link to Mirabot.
Oh, that would be so cool, Shiloh, wouldn't it? He's one of my favorite directors. Him and oh gosh, I'm having a brain hiccup. The guy who directed Memento. And Oppenheimer.
Okay. Welcome to this pod, Darino. Darino was the second pod to be released by the DRC to the public. It was placed in the museum on March 15th of 2007. Darino is Riziksev's Arctic continent. It holds observation pod number 25. The pod is located half submerged in a freshwater lake in the southwest of the landmass. The Denis were exhibiting the fish found in the lake, but since half the pad is above the ice cap of the lake, it's probable that there were land animals there as well at the time that the museum was active. As I mentioned when I showed you the picture of the outside earlier, this pod is typical of them all. It is a hollow sphere with a platform system inside it that has 3 levels. The platforms are designed to align with the windows in the body of the pod. 2 at the lower level, 1 at mid-level, and 2 at the upper level. If you go down to the bottom of the pod, you will see the master power switch is in the center of a bank of other switches. The 4 buttons on either side of the power switch control sound and scent emitters. Each was designed to attract a specific type of animal. Okay, Murphek, can you take us outside?
If you look at the windows long enough, you should be seeing things go by. You'll need to go downstairs. And by the way, Murphak has overlaid the age of Jalak with this so that we can get around. That's why those columns with the symbols are outside. Of course, normally they wouldn't be there.
Jalak.
I'm sorry?
Jalak.
Jalak, not
Yeah.
Jalak? Okay.
Right. Jalak is the Denis word for columns. For a column.
Oh, cool. So so Murphak's going to port us outside. I've told everyone not to climb the ladders. I don't know if climbing them here would crash us, but
better not to find out.
Yeah, in Garizen it would definitely crash us. I do see people walking outside.
Just remember, folks, no climbing and no finger poking.
No good finger poking, exactly.
Okay, here we are outside with the fish.
Yeah,
The,
and you can also PM the letter W to Mirabot.
okay, so there are several fish type species of fish and other animals in the vicinity of the pod. The largest of them, of which there are two, is the Darino That name comes from the fact that these ray type animals have a distinct resemblance to flying animals native to the age of Kalo. The Dareno is a ray with a single compound eye that wraps around the entire front of its head. If it follows the pattern of rays on Earth, it may eat crustaceans or shellfish on the lake bed, or it might eat plankton. It's not possible to observe much. We've never seen them eating anything, so their actual diet, is a mystery. There are three types of smaller fish, and the Denis Zoological Society, or DZS, gave them names, since we don't know their real names. They called them the fan-tailed icefish, the ruddy angelfish, and the striped rockfish. And you should be able to, let's see. You should be able to tell which one is which by their coloration and body shapes. You'll also notice that there are giant branched and flat greenish structures that are two different species of freshwater coral. Seeing coral growing in an Arctic environment is something that would have a zoologist on Earth rubbing his eyes in disbelief, since earthly corals are strictly warm water animals. The round objects that you see bubbles coming out of are called the DZS called globe sponges. Sponges normally trap food by that is swept through the cavities in their bodies by water currents. But in this lake, the currents are too slow to do the job efficiently. To make up for this, the globe sponge produces gases that are released up the central cavity, and the movement of the gases in turn draws water in from the base of the sponge and up through the animal. That brings food particles with it. Okay. And there's not an awful lot we can say about any of the other animals in here, down here. So if you would please, Murphek, take us up on top of the ice.
RT answered my question that these rays are not related to the ones in Gira.
No.
Which makes sense. They're two different ages.
They're also two completely different types of animals.
Oh, Darlene is here. Hi, Mawa.
Hello, Darlene.
Oh, but she says she doesn't have any sound. Oh, and she says Twitch is still showing the map, which is true.
Yeah. I hadn't had any reason to turn that off, but let me go ahead and do that now. There we go.
Yeah, this the week before this tour, I hope it's okay if I disclose that you and Arte discussed some of this content with Rawa himself.
We've been doing that for the last several tours.
Yep.
Okay. Anyway, now that we're on the surface, let's go ahead and...
That's how we got the names for all the land masses on the map.
Yep.
Well, the translations of the names.
Okay, what on earth? Ah. The surface outside the pod is a frozen lake with many wind-sculpted ice ridges. There is also a peculiar type of tree growing through the ice sheet that's covering the lake, and it feeds on substances in the water below. As a matter of fact, something I didn't point out is that if you look at the upward towards the ice sheet, you can actually see the roots of these trees poking through it. Now, let's see, I need to bring up another picture, don't I? So let me go ahead and...
Your typo in chat, Susan, sounds like you're trying to speak with a Scottish burr.
What typo? D/N for do not?
Oh, there's a slash there. It looks like D space and like no.
Oh no,
I do not know.
I do not know. I can't even I won't even try to replicate that accent. But yeah, I'm lazy, so I type abbreviations.
Okay. I just put another picture up in the stream window. An interesting feature of the age, which was pointed out to me by an explorer called Mary Sue, is that the frost on the windows does not follow the typical six-pointed pattern of ice crystals on Earth. Instead of having 6 points, the frost here has 5 points. This can be seen rimming the windows on the middle and upper landings. Because of that, her conclusion was that the liquid in the lake couldn't possibly be water. However, I disagree with that because while frost does often form snowflake-like crystals, it just as often it breaks the rule and forms other shapes or even none at all. While I cannot explain why almost all of the frost crystals on the pod windows have the 5-pointed structure, it's not impossible for water-based frost to form that way. It's just very unlikely. Does Darano have a geographical or environmental reason why frosts would form a star shape? I wish I knew. I don't, but I don't. Let's see if I can find...
So wait a second here. So not only is the pod spherical, but the age is spherical too? Or is that just a game construction? Because, from our point of view, there's sky above and things off on the horizon, but that's true when you stand anywhere on Earth.
Mm-hmm. That's the same thing.
Right.
Okay. Here are a picture of real ice crystals on Earth, so you can see how varied they can be. Okay. From here, the next pod we're going to go to is Cavern. If you would please, Mirfak.
Hey.
By the way, any of you at any time can link to Mirafak's age, and just PM help, HELP, to the bot. He'll give you a list of his commands, and you can walk around, float around, go high, low, east, west, etc. In case you didn't know that already. But according to my list of names, all of you are experienced players.
When you want, you can link to me.
Okay. Link to the bot, please. Cavern is the largest continent shown on the map in the museum, and the landmass the map centers on. It's hot, arid, and windy, although the winds die down a little at night. It holds several pods, including the third pod to be released by the DRC, which was placed in the museum on April 5th of 2007. On the pod map, Cavern is shown to have 4 pods, numbers 1, 12, 13, and 19. The pod we are in now is number 13, which is located near the mid-southern coast. The pod is located on an exposed section of bedrock for stability, but is surrounded by fields of loose sand with occasional rocky outcrops. Okay. Please take us outside, Murphy.
Sorry?
Yes.
No, I didn't understand what you said.
Oh, outside, please.
Okay.
Did everyone bring some chicken scratch?
Chicken scratch.
Think about it, Arte. Think about it.
Okay, this is early morning, looks like, or a late evening, maybe.
Yeah, it's night.
There are many small rocks around the pod, and at night, right after it turns dark, they glow. They seem to be phosphorescent or a similar nature to it. They apparently gain energy from the sunlight and glow at night for a while. But as the night wears on, they stop glowing. During the day, the stones are dull and look much like any other rock. But when they glow, they show a crystalline nature, and there are many different colors to them. The glow seems to fade away by around local midnight. Let's see. Okay. If you take a quick look at the stream window, I have put up a picture of the outside of the pod while the rocks are still glowing.
That is a really cool picture. Did you take that yourself?
Yeah.
Wow, what incredible timing. Did you do that on purpose?
Yes, I was at it.
Nice.
I spent a great deal of time getting pictures of the outside of environment here.
Cool.
Okay. Cavern. Hmm? What was that?
It looks like there's some questions.
Go
Unless
ahead.
you already answered them.
No, go ahead and read them off. So because I don't know.
It says this desert seems to be relatively north compared to the desert belts by Shiloh of our planet map equator. Do you have any more info on whether the weather patterns that might explain this?
Actually, this place is windswept, and it does get quite hot during the daytime. So like I said, you'll see a lot of exposed rock around here, but in between that is sand.
Okay. I think that's the only question.
Cavern.
I'll say I've got an additional answer for Shiloh.
Hmm.
You got to remember that a desert just means lack of water, because there's also high deserts too. But there's different geological reasons for the formation of a desert. For example, Death Valley in the United States, it has very high temperatures, easily over 130 degrees Fahrenheit. But that's because the desert floor is actually below sea level. And you have to go back to the last ice age. Prior to the last ice age, it was underwater. And then the ice age came, everything froze, and then when the ice age ended, there was still ice on the oceans, so the ocean levels dropped to form all the ice, which meant Death Valley was below sea level, but it was encircled by mountains, so the water evaporated, leaving the desert. So there's a lot of different geological forces that play in creation of deserts. They don't necessarily have to be on the equator.
Anyway, back to the age. Cavern is mainly a desert, so much of the wildlife is invisible to the eye, probably consisting of insects, arthropods, lizards, and snakes that mainly burrow underground to keep out of the heat and constant wind-blown grit. The only animal that can be observed in Cavern is the Cavern erwin, which is also called the Sanskrit. It feeds on the insects and other small animals that burrow beneath the sands around the district. It scoops up mouthfuls of the sand and filters its food out as it expels the sand grains. The Sanskrit has a pouch on its lower jaw that has a large number of small holes in it for sand to fall through. But they're too small for the prey the animal eats. Let's see. Do we have? Okay, can't see the sun rising.
Are they aggressive or timid, would you say?
Since we can't interact with them, I have no way of knowing.
Okay.
I'd be afraid of just getting stepped on by accident.
Yeah.
And
they are
that's
heavy. You can hear them stomping around.
Yes, and there's also the fact that they are their normal stride is a little bit faster than a running pace for us. So they are very quick across the ground.
You got those big, what look like webbed feet. It's like, you know why ducks have webbed feet? So they can stamp out forest fires. You know why elephants have flat feet? To stamp out burning ducks.
Oh my gosh.
Sorry.
Oh. Yeah, everyone's going to rage quit the tour now.
Okay, I'm going to try something here in a moment. Let me see if I can get this to work. Okay, if you look at the stream window, do you see the picture of the Sanskrit up there?
Yep.
Okay, then let's go ahead and see if this works. You do see it moving, right? They're just scooped up a mouthful of sand so that to filter out food.
Yeah.
And so there's what? There's like little insects in the sand? Is that what you said?
Insects, lizards, snakes, arthropods like scorpions and the like.
Oh, wow.
Basically,
scorpions.
There's
Ugh.
going to be an awful lot of life out there, but most of it probably lives underground, which is why we can't see it.
Do you have sound with the animation?
Unfortunately, when you're outside the pod, you can't hear the sound.
I think Mirabot has a command you can do to ride the Sanskrit.
Yeah, but it doesn't animate it.
Oh.
So that's why I took this footage, is because this, as far as I know, may be the only way that we can actually see the animal moving.
Cool. I love the contrast in the nighttime.
Okay, no, not quite done yet, is he?
Yeah, he does. He comes within viewing distance from a pod window, right? But not terribly, terribly close to the pod.
No, he doesn't get close to the pod. What I did to get this picture actually was to elevate myself on top of the pod.
Oh, cool.
So that
And those... Oh, go ahead.
Because, like I said, keeping up with that thing when it's moving is very difficult.
Right. Now, those black dots, those are its eyes? I mean, they sure are set very, very far back, aren't they?
Not for a bird. They're behind the beak. Okay, that's the end of that. Okay, so let's go ahead and turn that off. Oh, so we're right. Speaking of riding the Irwin. Say.
Oh, here we go.
Yeah, we're on it right now.
I have to be in first person to see this, so I can't tell. Is it flying or just walking?
Just walking.
It's moving, but not ambulate. It's not moving its limbs, but the structure of it is moving. I can see it in third person.
My third person is stuck inside the pod.
Really? That's interesting.
Well, I crashed, and when I came back,
Oh no.
I was stuck inside the pod, much like was in Dorino.
And Murphic's right there. Mirabot's right there embedded in its head. I love these effects that Mirabot does.
Okay, so where are we? Oh, there we go.
Okay, now it's walking. Now that we're not riding it anymore, it's walking.
Actually, I just see it gliding. I don't see it walking.
Really? Well, once we fell through it to the ground, I saw its legs moving.
Yeah, it did for a moment.
It actually looks very similar to the Borrow animation.
The Borrow animation?
The Borrow, when we flew in the Borrow, it
Borrow
had a similar pattern when we were riding the Irwin.
Anyway, it stopped over there, so let's see if we can get close enough to see what it looks like up close.
Shiloh, check its vitals.
Okay, so yeah, I'm currently looking up at it from up close, and I'm looking at the lower part of the jaw so you can see the holes I was talking about. Oh, there it goes. It took a couple steps and then started gliding again.
Yeah, birds' eyes really aren't set. At least not my budgies. They're not set that far back.
That's because they don't have a huge beak.
That's true. That's why I have budgies. When they bite, they don't take your finger off.
Anyway, so that's
Oh, they have 4 toes forward, 1 toe back.
Mm-hmm.
Don't like, I think sparrows like have like 3 toes forward, 1 toe back. What do chickens have?
It's mostly the same pattern.
Is it 3 toes forward, 1 toe back, or 4 toes
I think
forward,
so.
1? Budgies and woodpeckers are climbing birds, so they have 2 toes forward, 2 toes back.
And owls.
And owls too?
Yep, 2 forward, 2 back.
Ooh.
But the owls can rotate one of the toes forward, so they're actually like, I don't know, ambidextrous, multifunctional. Because you can see them with 3 forward, 1 back, or 2 forward, 2 back. But technically, it's 2 forward, 2 back.
That's like woodpeckers.
So they can grab their prey.
Yeah.
Yeah, and budgies, parakeets.
Woodpeckers have the 2 forward, 2 back pattern, but that's because they need to hang off the side of a tree trunk without losing their balance.
Right.
Now, one of the things that's peculiar about Peyopheren is that the air has peculiar properties, possibly because of all the sand and dust in it. The district around the pod seems to be surrounded by high mountains, but those mountains are actually a mirage. That can be seen particularly well at sunrise, because sunrise, which can be witnessed from the large mid-level window of the pod, when you look at it, you will notice that the sun is visible through what should technically be mountains. Let's see if I can get some pictures up of that.
Charlotte wants you to post an evolutionary tree for the Irwin.
No can do.
Rawa, we need an evolutionary tree. I wonder if this is this technically a reptile or a bird?
It's a bird.
Okay. Lightless bird.
It's a bird. It's a plane. It's Super Chicken.
So
yes.
if we pay attention to the stream window again for a moment, this is a photograph of the sun just coming up here in Peyopheren. And then I'll switch pictures to the next one. And there it is just a little bit farther along. And you'll notice that in these 2 pictures, you can actually see the sun, the parts that are supposedly behind the mountain. And then when we get to this picture, the sun has pretty much cleared them, so it's mostly visible. But you can still see that there's a little bit behind what looks like a mountain ridge, but it's actually an illusion. So that's something that if you happen to be here at the right time, you will be able to see for yourselves, because it happens at sunrise, which is every 15 hours, something like that. Okay, let's go ahead.
Now, could the fluorescent rocks that are at night
those are visible?
Mirage?
No. That's going to be air conditions that cause that.
Okay.
Anyway, so that's pretty much it for what I have on Peyopheren. And let's see. So our next destination is going to be Negalon. As soon as you're ready, Murphy.
Yes, I'm moving there.
Yep.
Okay. I'm in.
Okay, I'll link there now. Link to the bot, please, everyone. Negalon is a small continent or large island that is covered in forests and jungles and is located southwest of Cavern. It is the site of Museum Pod number 18. This was the first pod to be released by the DRC and was placed in the museum on March 1st of 2007. In Denis history, Negalon was the first part of the age to be displayed. And because of that, there is a possibility that this may have been the base link in the Pod Ages descriptive book, and everything else was built out from this one. No one knows for certain who wrote the Pod Age, but most believe it was Guildmaster Oren of the Guild of Writers. He is said to have written it as a gift for a lord named Geral. Geral later contributed the books to the museum for public use in Denis year 8797. The linking books to the other pods were most likely to have been written as expansions to the age after it was found that Negalon was just the beginning of the weird and wonderful... Excuse me. We got some sort of weird noise going on. Okay. Anyway.
It's Larry's coffee mug.
Nope.
It's spraying to life.
That's the one of you guys. Okay.
Well, that was me. Sorry.
Yeah.
I unplugged my headphones for a second.
Okay.
And there was some extra noise I wasn't accounting for.
Yeah. Okay. Anyway, the other pods in the Pod Age were most likely to have been written as expansions to the age after it was found that Negalon was just the beginning of the weird and wonderful wildlife to be found on this planet. This island is home to one of the most diverse ecologies on the planet. The DRC has cataloged 7 or 8 major types of animal in the area around the pod. Sadly, most of the large animals of the district were systematically destroyed, and the area is almost devoid of its normal fauna now. Douglas Sharper was sent to investigate the wildlife here and learned that a group of freed Baro had apparently developed a taste for hunting and were brutally killing every animal they could find. This has since been halted, but the effect remains. The district will probably take many years or even many decades to recover. Okay, let's see if I can find...
Can I ask you a quick Baro question?
Hmm?
Can the Baro link to each and every age, and how do they do it? Because, I mean, they obviously don't have to use any linking books.
No, they link They link at will by means of tattoos on their bodies.
Right, to any age. So they don't need to write books like the Dunny do. So they've conceivably been to every age that exists? Is
Not necessarily, because I imagine they have to be aware of it first. But the thing is that they can link to any place that they have knowledge of.
But I wonder how they have knowledge. Like the Dunny write books to get to ages, but
remember that personal linking is not their only way of getting around. They also have the borrow stones, which are linking cloths that are placed on stone tablets.
Right.
And that if a borrow hasn't been to a particular place, and wants to learn it, I imagine they can use a borrow stone to go there, after which they will no longer need the stone.
Interesting.
Okay. Let's go ahead and turn off that. Okay. In the stream window, I now have another chart that can be found on the folding table that holds the map of the pod age. It shows several, but not all, of the animals listed by the Denis as living here. Explorer Tricia Lawson found and translated a document called the Negalon Introductory Pamphlet in November 3rd of 2003. I'll be breaking down the information from the tablet and matching the names of the animals to the available illustrations. But to tell you what what the pamphlet says, the pamphlet reads, "Welcome to Negalon, home of the infamous Tarpon Shawl and Bezalpummy. Negalon was one of the first features added to our museum in 8797 at the request of Lord Gerald. At the time, maintainers and museum staff felt that Negalon had been researched enough to approve the age for a museum pod that would allow our visitors to experience the age for themselves. You will notice that all of our pods, including Negalon's, have a few special features. Fortunately, solar power enables our pods to function without outside power sources. However, though our pods will gain power throughout with minimal energy usage, heavy usage will drain energy units fairly quickly. Be careful not to use up a pod's energy before nightfall, or you may miss out on some sights. Before you visit Negalon, we'd like to take a minute to get you acquainted with the creatures that live here. Please remember that while we have placed our pod in an optimal position, you are visiting a natural habitat, and we have no control over when or where you see our friends in Negalon, or if you will see anything at all. Our pods do have sound and scent emitters that will attract Negalon's inhabitants, although again, these are real animals and there are no guarantees. Remember, too, that all reactions to what you do in Negalon are not always immediately evident. Good luck." And then they go on to talk about the creatures. "Rather than give away all of the secrets of Negalon, we want you to find creatures on your own. The following notes are only meant to provide you with an introduction to the natural habitat of Negalon. We will say that if you can't find Curie, things aren't going well. The large swarms usually fill the air, especially in the more open spaces. Curie are one of the sole providers of nutrients to the Irwins. If you see a swarm of Curie, look out. An Irwin might be nearby." Okay, and let's go ahead and see if I can find you a picture of a Curie. Here. Okay, that's Ghibli.
In that drawing that's currently on Twitch, is the creature to the right of the human, is that Irwin or Sanskrit?
Well, I'll be explaining them all in a moment.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I just changed the picture, so I can't really tell you. Anyway, Curie are also known as crow flies in the creature illustrations. So this is one type that I have on the screen at the moment, and then I'm changing the picture to another type. So they're not all identical. All we see when we look out, because these things are glow like fireflies, is colored swarms of them flying around in the environment. Murphac, please move us outside so that we can see all the animals and plants that are here out there.
Yes.
Thank you.
You can begin by the monkey.
Okay, thank you. Now, if you look around, we should be able to see Curie somewhere around here. They're going to be below your feet, more likely. If we do spot them, they're going to look like clouds of swarming lights. I'm not seeing any. That's strange.
I just saw like 3 lights go across on the ground.
Okay. Anyway,
I think they travel in clumps like in either chemo, or are they
yes.
not that large
No,
of a
they
mass?
can't. No, they are a large. They are just. They do look very similar to the other
Okay.
chemo fireflies.
Okay, so they would be
Okay.
hard to miss.
Oh, there's one of the monkeys over on the tree over there. Let's see. There it is again, climbing up.
Oh, there it is.
Yeah. Anyway, I'm going to go back to the to my pictures in the stream window.
No finger poking, Arte. It bites.
Oh, I just want to scratch it behind its ears. I don't like that.
Okay. Now let's see.
And there it goes. Eee, little kitty.
I think, let's see. Gipoli are another of Negalon's smaller creatures, although they are much more colorful than the Kiri. Gipoli can often be seen gliding through the air and are a favorite treat for Ripa. I take that back. The picture that I have up that's called a jellyfly is probably a Narum. Okay. Narum are slow-moving and a beautiful native inhabitant of Negulon. During mating seasons, especially at night, you have a good chance of being witness to some beautiful displays by Narum females. Ask a nearby museum guide for more information on Narum mating season. Let's see.
Viewer discretion is advised.
The picture that I have up now is titled A Claw Worm. So I'm not quite sure. Which one this was supposed to be at the moment. I'll be able to clear that up in a bit. Uchapara, often seen dangling under trees, are actually young tarpon shawl. See if you can follow the tarpon shawl life cycle. We'll give you a small hint. You will need to pay close attention to Gotse. Pummies hunt in packs and often eat the babies of Negulon's other inhabitants. Pummies will prey on sick, small, or weak adults much larger than them. Pummies like to jump from tree to tree, so you'll have to be quick. See if you can find what likes to eat pummies. Let me go ahead and turn.
And we can actually see these inside the age?
No, not. I'm just reading a visitor's notice.
Oh, gotcha. Sorry.
But see if you can find what likes to eat pummy. We'll give you a hint. They eat very slowly and live high in the trees. And that is something that's right in front of you on the tree sides. The large thing that looks like a flower. Another of Negulon's inhabitants that are fun-loving creatures that like to eat Narum, Gipoles, and other plants and animals. We'll tell you now that, however, they are timid creatures and we often find them far away from the pod. But if you happen to see a Ripa, consider yourself lucky. Gotse are usually pretty easy to spot, especially when they are resting. So we'll let you see if you can find them without any hints. If you see one, notice its stripes. No two patterns are the same. Although Irwin are technically birds, they can't fly. However, with all the Curie around, they don't need to. Irwin are the only of Negulon's inhabitants that mate for life and are often seen in pairs. If you get the chance to see a Panadoi, you'll know why it has the name it does. That's all we will tell you. The tarpon shawl is Negulon's most famous creature, and if you get a chance to see one drop down on an unsuspecting animal below it, you'll know why. You'll have to look carefully on the high branches. They are hard to see, but they are worth the effort. As for any other information, you'll have to find it yourself. Good luck, and we hope you enjoy Negulon. Please ask the museum guide if you have any questions or problems. Okay, now, The most striking feature of Negulon were called stilt trees by the DCS. If you look around, you'll see the large trees that have exposed roots at the bottom, and the tree itself, trunk itself, does not start for a number of yards from the surface. The stilt trees, let's see if I can find. I got so many pictures to sort through, it's actually kind of a pain in the backside. Okay, I don't have it in this folder. Immediately outside the pod is a small jungle marsh with pools of stagnant water surrounding the pod. But those are interspersed with higher patches of solid ground, one of which is supporting the pod. Clouds of Kiri fly around in the air. Kiri are the Negulon equivalent of fireflies and behave in a similar fashion to the fireflies of Durebo and Netterchemo, although they are not attracted to passing animals like chemo fireflies. Kiri glow in a mix of greens and golds and are one of the base animals in the local food web. The tall, thin plants with red spots on them that up near the tips were dubbed snake plants by the Denaziological Society. The higher ground is covered with marsh moss. You will notice that on the roots and trunks of the stilt trees, the bark is patterned rather like a lizard's scales. If you look around, you will also see ferns, grasses, and algae. There are smaller trees in the distance, which the DZS never identified. The creatures, let's see, I need to use, here we go.
Quill had asked if the trees are carnivorous, but I don't think that's true.
Not the stilt trees, no.
Okay.
Okay. But we're looking, here we go. The ferocious looking things on the tree were called piranha flowers by the DZS. I'll say more about them soon. Okay. So let's go to the pictures and the stream again. And here's a closer up picture of a... This is what the illustrations call a monkey-eating plant. It's one of the most easily observed fauna from the Negulon pod. Bezalpumi is their Genie name, and they work very much like a Venus flytrap. When a pummy lands or climbs across one, it triggers the petals and the spiked arms to spring closed very quickly, wrapping around the pummy and drawing it into the mouth in the center of the plant. From there, the pummy struggles to escape, cause it to fall into a digestive chamber. It takes the plant a long time to digest its prey, and it remains closed during the process. When it has finished, the petals reopen. This is another long, slow process as the spring tension in the petals and arms resets. If the trap is sprung, but the pummie somehow manages to avoid being caught, the plant immediately begins the long process of reopening. Okay. Oh yeah, this picture is one of the illustrations that calls it a monkey-eating plant. Let's see. What the hell?
Don't get too close now.
Okay. On the creature chart, this outline is the one that they called the Gotse. And I should have another. Okay, I see why I'm not finding it. So there's another picture further down on my list here. Here we go. This is a sketch of what a Gotse is supposed to look like. As you see, when it's at rest, it hangs from tree branches upside down like a bat. In illustrations, the Gotse was called a tiger bat or a tiger skeeto, depending on who did the illustration. Gotse appear to have home trees which they regard as their own. They hang upside down from its branches at night to sleep. During the day, they fly out from their tree to hunt, but they always return to the same tree when they want to rest. Okay, now I see. Let's go back down here. Okay, this one here, which is marked jellyfly, is a Gipoli. Gipoli are named after their resemblance to jellyfish and are lightweight animals who float in the air like a jellyfish floats in the sea. This is most likely because they have a bladder of a buoyant gas inside their bodies. Movement appears to be by means of a muscular flap around their bodies, which they move in a rippling pattern to move the air around them. Gipoli are active in both day and nighttime and are said to glow colorfully in the dark. Okay, going back to the Kiri. Called krillfly in concept art, they are represented as colored swarms of light in-game. Kiri are one of the base animals in the local food web and are the staple food of Irwin. They fly in swarms that appear to average between 12 to 25 individuals. There are at least 2 species of animals that fall under the name Kiri. And of course, I've shown you this one, and then here's the other one again. But they all exhibit the same behaviors and all glow continuously like fireflies. Kiri swarms have glows ranging from gold to green, suggesting that the two species have their own distinctive colors of either gold or green, although they do swarm together. Okay, let's see. What's this particular one called? Oh, color pillar, okay. Okay, this illustration is called a color pillar here. It's also one of the animals that is on the chart. Its Dene name is Narum. Narum live their lives crawling up and down the trunks of the trees in Negalon searching for food. Their name is derived from their resemblance to caterpillars and their bright coloration. The animals are the most active in the early morning and late evening. During mating season, Narum females glow to attract males, and it's said to be a gorgeous sight. Okay. Here we go. We don't have a sketch of this creature from the chart, but this is a Panadoi. It's also called a big leg in documentation, because that's what Panadoi means. A Panadoi is big, very big. From an observation pod, all visitors were likely to see were its legs moving past the windows, and maybe they might hear one pecking on top of the pod. It was the fact that big legs were all one might see that inspired the Dene name. Like giraffes, Panadoi are vegetarians who use their long legs to feed on the leaves atop the trees. To give you an idea of just how large they are, their legs are longer than an Irwin is tall. Okay, let's see. Monkeys. Here we go. This is the sketch of a pummy from the chart. Now, let's see, I got pictures of, here we go. And here's a sketch of one. You'll notice that on the sketch, it's called a two-tailed monkey. It's Pummy, Irwin, Kiri, and the bezel pummy flowers are the only things that can actually be seen in the age. Pummies are active both during the day and nighttime, and are opportunistic feeders who will eat almost anything they can catch. They have been known to work cooperatively to hunt and kill animals that are larger than themselves, especially if those animals are sick or weakened by hunger. While they are mainly seen jumping from tree to tree, leaps that cover incredible distances, they also range on the forest floor looking for food. Okay. And now, let's see. Here we go. This is another large animal, more or less human-sized figure on the animal chart. And here is a sketch of it. This is a Ripa, which is called a gorilla in illustrations. Ripa are comparable to human size, appearing to be approximately 6 to 7 feet tall. They only resemble gorillas in overall shape. In this sketch, the Ripa seems to be almost reptilian in some aspects of its form, and has a tail with a stinger on it. Ripa are especially fond of Gipoli, and when seen, were often spotted while catching and eating them. Unlike earthly gorillas, Ripa are at home both on the ground and in the trees, and were as often as not spotted climbing up or down a tree on the rare occasions when they were sighted. Ripa are nocturnal, so the sightings were mostly at night. And then, let's see, somewhere around here. Here we go. And this picture here is a tarpon shawl. The illustrations often call it a drop claw. Tarpon shawl attach themselves to the underside of high branches in the jungle canopy. They spin a thread a little like a spider's, and when prey is directly below them, they let go of the branch and fall down to their victim on the thread. If the attack is successful, they pull themselves back up to the branch by their thread while hauling the victim along with them. Tarpon shawl mainly catch pummy, but when the opportunity arises, they were even known to kill baby Ripa. Occasionally, the thread of a tarpon shawl would break under the stress, and the animal would plummet to its death. It's said that the thudding sound of one hitting the ground at speed could be heard even inside the observation pod. I don't have a picture of the next animal, the Uchapara. The Uchapara in documentation was referred to as large worm, because that's what Uchapara means. The Uchapara is the larva of a tarpon shawl. When they are young, they are usually seen wriggling around in the roots of trees. When one is old enough, it climbs up the tree before undergoing a metamorphosis. It is not currently known if it has a juvenile form or if it translates directly from the large worm into a tarpon shawl. And then finally, we have this guy here. The Irwin is the giant bird in illustrations and on the animal chart. It's one of 3 animal types that can be seen from the pod. It is said that up to 7 Irwin may form a inhabited territory in a loose flock. To conserve energy, they tend not to move very much unless they have a reason, such as hunting the swarms of kiri, which are their staple food. Negalon Irwin feed by snapping a swarm out of the air and trapping them behind the feathery plates hanging from their upper jaw. So they're very much like a whale, a baleen whale does with the plates in its mouth. Excess air would be blown out through the plates before the animal swallowed the trapped Kiri. By the way, Richard A. Watson revealed that the Irwin was named in honor of Steve Irwin, the crocodile hunter. He just changed the spelling of the name. Okay, let's go ahead and close turn the game back on. And we'll go back here. Oh, there's an Irwin. It's up so you can see it up close. Before the end of the tour here, I've got some out of character information. The pod age was intended to be open-ended, and Cyan had plans to release more pods as time passed. The 25 pods shown on the museum map were just the start. There was no limit set on how many pods would be developed as long as the game lasted. Richard A. Watson still wonders how many there would be today if the game hadn't been discontinued. The pods were intended to be a long-term project for explorers, like the lake lighting project. Richard Watson was in charge of both the lake lighting and the pod age, and wanted the explorers to have many of that kind of project available so they could find one or more that they would like to contribute to. He likes game mechanics that take time and effort to produce a payoff. Another example of the projects he likes were the calendar stones, which when they were introduced, took at least a year to complete. The calendar was a personal project that you could choose to do or to leave undone, and the lake lighting was a community project that you could choose whether or not you wanted to participate in it. The pods were intended to be another community project. The idea was that the explorers could use the pod controls to gradually repair the food web and increase the activity of creatures near the pod. At first, you'd only be able to attract creatures at the lowest rung of the ladder. When the number of creatures at that level had hit a certain density, the next creature up the ladder would be attracted to the area around the pod. And when enough of them had appeared, it would attract yet a higher order of creature, and so on. So by pressing one of the buttons in the pod, might attract the local equivalent of mice. The other buttons wouldn't do anything because the creatures they were meant to call weren't anywhere near. But as time passed and more mice were attracted, there would eventually be enough mice to attract the equivalent of cats to the area. The cats could be interacted with using the second button, and more cats would come to the area. Eventually, there will be enough cats to attract the equivalent of predatory birds. The third button would interact with the birds, and that's how the explorers would work their way up the ladder. That was how all the pods were intended to work. The precise timing of the long-term projects had not yet been determined before the game was shut down. There were many variables that Cyan Worlds couldn't figure out ahead of time. How many subscribers would the game have? How many of them would be interested in contributing to a project? Richard Watson, who was involved in the creation of the pod age, thought that the first level of creatures for each pod would arrive quickly, and then progress would be slower for each consecutive animal up the ladder. By his calculations, he thought that it would take about 6.4 million years to see the highest level of creatures in a given pod. He was talking about playing time, of course, not real time. As an example of how that works, if 500 players spent around 15 minutes each contributing to one of the long-term projects in a single real-life day, that would equal a little over 5 days of playing time towards completing that project. And that is what I have for the pod age. Do we have any questions?
I'm not seeing any. You want me to go ahead and close it out then?
If anyone has any questions that might have scrolled out of view, go ahead and retype them. Shiloh, I know you have a question.
What we see on the map in the museum is approximately 1/3 of the age, or of the world, I should say. There were because they never got past that. They only got 4 out of the 25 that were on that map. Of course, they never had any reason to create a map of the other parts of the world. The reason why there are Jalak shapes in here is because Murphak needed to import that to give us something to walk on.
Otherwise, we'd be rotating out.
Yep.
Yeah, I assume I don't know if a player, if he's in Marabot stage, other than during a tour, if he'd have to activate the on-lake command first before traveling outside, or
that's correct.
Or is the on-lake command permanent in here? Because the bot assumes we'll be traveling outside.
No.
Oh, here comes Erwin.
That was it. The on-lake command has to be added because there's nothing solid in here outside of the pod.
Right.
Well, there, I thought you were going to start singing, Susan. To the tune of "Here Comes Santa Claus."
I don't want people's ears to bleed.
Here comes Erwin, walking down the lane.
We know you like to sing.
Let's string a few notes together.
Okay. In any case, it's about time to shut down. So, if you close this out.
Okay.
All right.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh.
Go ahead, Zeke.
Oh, I thought you wanted to do it. Go ahead.
Go ahead, Zeke.
After you.
I want to thank everyone for coming on the tours. We do this the third
the fourth Saturday of every month.
Fourth Saturday of every month. Don't forget to give to the CavCon so that we can keep doing these tours. It really helps keep the lights on, and we can keep bringing you these interesting tours every week. The other thing I should note that I have not noted before, because we're in a bot age, there can be residual effects from the bot when you link into your router or something.
I
All
call
you
them
gotta
bot
do is
cooties.
yeah, all you gotta do is restart the game and then come back in, and everything should be fixed. So if you try to play the game afterwards, it you might have a pod in your roto all of a sudden, or you might have a jackalope in your roto. So just be aware of that. um, and then I want to thank Larry and Arte for being our historians, Mirfat for being our tech, and Susan and me for being your host for the tours. And I hope you join us next month for our next tour.
And I'll dovetail on that. Our next tour will be Saturday, December 28th at 11 a.m. 11 a.m. key time. Meet in Cavern Tours Hood. According to our schedule, however, next month's tour will be a Twitch stream only tour. With that said, you're welcome to join us. We'll just hang out in the hood or in another, place like a garden age if you prefer that. Larry, do you want to confirm that next month will be a
I'm not
Twitch
sure.
only tour?
Actually, I'm not sure what it is.
It starts with an R.
Let me see.
And we might actually travel to another age and hang out there because that R age is sort of related to an in-game physical age.
Yeah, let's see what we got here.
I can't PM you the information in Moolah because it'll display on the screen in Twitch.
Okay, I see. We didn't do that one yet. But
nope.
Yeah, if we're doing that one and the maybe the two after that, those are all stream only.
Yeah, and we'll probably be hanging out in the
hang out
age
in the
that's
pub
related
and drink
to
coffee.
that. There you go. And I'm inclined to think that we would hang out in the end game age that's related to that age. Just to give it more flavor.
There isn't one, I don't think. That's why I have to do it in the stream.
Oh, I mentioned it in my tour schedule.
Well, we'll see. Anyway,
we'll see.
Those are all the ones that are coming up for the next two tours looked like ones that were never actually realized in the game.
Yeah, right. That's true. Yeah, the tour for December and the tour for January are both Twitch only tours. But like I said, you guys are welcome to hang out in person with us in the hood or another age.
Before you go, Larry and Arte, do you want to discuss the upcoming events that's happening in the cavern?
I've got those up on the stream window.
In about an hour is going to be Story Night Europe, and tonight we're going to be talking about Denis' most beloved king.
King Arte?
No.
Story Night is at 1400.
1400 and repeat at 2330.
And it's the same, you're on the same schedule still?
Yes.
Okay. Because sometimes you're on different schedules.
Yeah, and then I've started something new as far as if I have to if I can't be at one story night, then I cancel them both just to keep them on the same schedule.
Oh, cool. And then at 2100 is Aoheek Night, which is that rock, paper, scissors game in each hood. It's at the competitive Myst Online League hood, which is a mouthful. And then Arte, are you still offering your Dunny language courses under your doppelganger alias?
Why, yes, I are.
Shuka Ren or something like that.
Shokutanti. Actually, Shokutan Ren. I'm going to put it up in the game.
Shokutan means instructor.
Yes.
So,
Shokutan Ren. And yes, you can contact me via PM, via Keymail, although be aware that my Keymails are full. So if you send me a key message, I'm not going to be able to respond. Or the best way is contact me in Discord at Arter10.
And is there an apostrophe in that? In Arter10?
No apostrophe.
Okay.
Arte, there it is. R apostrophe T.
His username is?
My display name is. My username is without the apostrophe.
Okay.
And so I'm going to give him Ren's key number, even though even though his mailbox is full. You gotta fix that, Arte.
It's filled up with information about the language lessons.
Oh, okay, gotcha. Yeah, you need a storage, Abby. Unless do you have a storage, Abby?
Yes, I do. I've got 3 storage Abbies, and guess what? They're all full.
Oh my gosh. Okay. Well, at least extra storage doesn't cost real money like it does in another video game I play.
That's right.
All right. Okay. Thanks all for coming. We hope to see you next month. It's 3 days after Christmas, obviously, but we figured that wouldn't interfere with your being out of town or whatnot. So, and even if you're out of town, just log into Twitch. We'd love to see you. And happy Thanksgiving, everybody, to those who are going to celebrate it this upcoming Thursday or a day nearby.
Gobble, 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 gobble.
Oh, there you go. Take care, guys.
Okay. Good night,
Bye,
everyone.
Everybody.
Bye, everybody.
Good night, John. Bye.
Okay, and I'm about to stop the stream right now.